why do you think I'm leaving that gap? I can check what's more accessory. Okay. So now I'm coming to the end. So I'm going to put my finger through. I'm going to come around. Come through once. Come through twice. And keep it secure. Okay. Now you can go back to closing that. I can go on to how I secure it. So fundamentals of splinting, right? Is that secure? Is that good? Not yet, right? So long bone fracture will require the joint below, wide swing, and narrow swath. Sorry, not swath. So wide sling. So I'm gonna take this triangle. Place his arm in it, just like this. Okay. Now, what I like to do is one, position the wrist, relax, completely relax, like you're just letting it hang. Yep. I'm going to position the wrist so that it's slightly above the elbow, right, to give it some elevation. Because we always want to keep in mind our basic, right, our basic things for recovery: rest, ice, compression, and elevation, right, rest. Super easy, sports med stuff. Now he's tied on the unaffected side for this, and that's just because when I go to reassess, I know both my knots are going to be right here. You have a little excess here, right? What you can do is you can just, to make it neat, you can fold that up, and you can just tuck that right in the splint, just like that. Okay. So now, we've done our sling, still need to do a swath. Go through here, and over the arm. See that? So over the humerus, or the bicep, but I'm through this. That way, there's less of a chance of this coming up on this throat. We go under this arm. And same thing. Try to tie this on the unaffected side. Sometimes people are big, like bigger. If they are, you can just tie two of these triangular bandages together, and they will still allow you to tie it. The wrist is mobilized. So you take, the best way to do this is to prep it beforehand. Take all your pieces, right? This part automatically connects. Right, it has these little bungees in there. So it automatically snaps together, okay? When you're looking at this, just so you know, this side should be outward. This side should be towards the patient's leg. Okay, we're gonna act like this femur is broken for presentation purposes, so you can see. So again, positioning this beforehand, setting it down, it's gonna be very helpful later. This piece, right? So you have your clamp, or you have your buckle, and then you have your two holes here. When you're sizing this, you're gonna go from greater trochanter, right? So the outside part of the femur, the lateral part of the femur. The way you feel that, the best way, so that's his iliac crest, right? So that's the top of his iliac bone. We're gonna move down until we feel another bump, which on him is right here. That's his greater trochanter. Some larger people, right? He has great anatomy for this. Some larger people, it's hard. It's hard to find. But his is fairly easy to find. So, buckle, make sure your equipment's working with you, not against you, right? So you want that buckle facing like this, okay? Not twisted, nothing like that. So as I measured, we go here, and I want to go about 6 to 8 inches past his foot. You don't want it too long because when you go to put them in the ambulance, you're not gonna be able to close the door. Okay? You don't want it too short because you want to be able to put enough traction on the vehicle. Alright? So I would say take one off. So I take this one right here off, right? And I place it right there, just like that. You guys see that? So now that's sized for him. This one, so where do you think that goes? So I gotta apply traction here, right? So it's gonna go on his heel, okay? So use this padded part, you put that on the Achilles, right? It's more comfortable that way. You want to try to get this pretty extended out, okay? So that when you pull your traction, it has something to pull from, right? You don't want to use all your slack, just put it on. So I'm going to, can I touch your foot? Okay, so I'm going to come up just like this, and you want to, usually I'd remove all rings, washers, and jewelry again. I can check my PMS now. Pulses for the foot, so or the leg, right? The major pulses, you're gonna have femoral, right? Which you gotta dig in, it's pretty uncomfortable. Popliteal, right? Underneath the back of the knee. Kinda gotta dig in there too, because it's deep, it's buried inside the joint. Then you also have medial malleolus, or malleolus, depending on how you're taught to pronounce it. Which is usually an easier one to find. And then you have dorsal dallas, right, which is right here. On him. This is fairly difficult. Yeah, I feel this. I feel it here. I feel this dorsal, or I feel this medial malleolus. Okay, so that's going to be the one I'm going to go for. Remember though, you're gonna have this in the way, so later it might be hard to find that again. Alright. So I'll apply this here, right? And I'm not applying any traction right now. You take your yellow tab gets the arrow. Okay? So the arrow goes in the yellow tab. Alright, now, can I have another volunteer? Stay on this side, please. And so what I want you to do is take one hand, right, and go underneath the femur. You're gonna hold it in place, and then take the other one and just stabilize the knee, right? Okay, so try to do this so you all can see. So now I need my 2 anchor points, right? Because this needs to pull traction. That's the point of it. It also needs to provide rigidity. So one anchor point, I'm gonna get close, okay? I'm not gonna touch, no problem. Alright. So I need to go in here, and I have to go relatively high, okay? So I'm gonna pull some, right? Trying not to move around too much, because a lot of movement on that femur is gonna hurt a lot, okay? But I want to get it as nice and secure as I can. Okay. Now that's done, you can go ahead and let go. All right, and then what I need you to do is try to go to the end here. So try to get like right here. And you're gonna grab the foot, okay, on the broken side. Grab the foot. You're gonna lean back and kind of pull towards it. Right? Pull traction on the foot. So he grabs the foot. He's gonna pull slight traction. Okay. Pull it pretty good. Don't pull too hard. Like don't scoot him back, but like pull a good amount of traction. Is that pretty good? Feels good. Okay. Now he's not trying to like crush the guy, but you know he wants to pull that traction. Okay. Is it okay if I remove your flip flop? Can I take this off? Alright, So I want to center these straps over the middle of his foot, the arch of his foot, like right here, the best I can, okay? And then as I do that, I'm gonna pull a little bit on this one. I'm gonna get this one nice and tight around his foot, okay? So that's good, that's tight around his foot. And now I'm gonna move to my red tab right here, and that's the one that's gonna actually pull the traction. Okay, so as I pull this, it's gonna provide some mechanical traction, right? He's providing manual traction. When I pull this to the point where it meets his manual traction, he's gonna tell me to stop. You got it? So when I pull, and you feel this let off how hard you're pulling, tell me to stop. Okay, so I'm gonna pull. That's good. Good. Okay, so let go. Yeah. So very, very gently put his foot down, his leg down. Okay. So that should be the same amount of traction. Was there any change in traction from when he let go to when I did this? Or was it about the same? It's good? Okay. So now, what I like to do with these, so go ahead and go back to holding his leg again. So let's put this one on first. So very, very carefully. So treat this like he has two knees right here, okay? So you can see. So treat this like he's got two knees, all right? And this knee is very painful when it moves. Okay? So you don't want to bend it, right? You don't want to move it, right, that much. So what I like to do is I start on his knee, okay, and I start on his hip, or his right here, and I'm gonna go halfway. Move this. Phones and stuff like lighters, stuff like that. You don't want it to dig into them. Sorry, I'm not trying to run your pockets. All right, so meet halfway, right? And that's gonna be not super tight, but snug. Okay, right about there. Okay, not crazy tight though. All right. And then when we go down, we're going to put another one. This leg's a little, it's like long, but it's okay. So we'll do two here. Halfway on the shin, right? Because we don't want to go over the knee. We're halfway on the shin. And apply that right there. Okay? And that's how that's going. We would then roll him, right? When you roll this guy, probably gonna need an extra hand, right? Be very careful with this femur. You're not going to want to roll on the apparatus, okay? Don't roll on this splint. This is going to be very painful. So we'll try to roll that side up, okay? Check downside. If you haven't done so very thoroughly, put him on the board. You're then going to secure him and this splint to the board, to the stretcher, while you transport to the hospital. You would also, remember you guys all packed? You got everything?
This is our bag. This is the first aid kit. This is Sati.
bleed on the forehead. Yeah, just a little blood. Respirations are 34.
Doctor phone I forgot.
What drugs? Okay, good.
He was complaining.
So, algorithm, right? Start from the beginning, work our way down.
You as the symbol, right, of our friendship and our partnership and working forward, and also to represent the donation of $9,000 in medical equipment that you all can use for training and for real world casualties. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.